Welcome to The Explainer. You know, for the last decade, whenever anyone talked about the electric vehicle revolution, the conversation started and ended with exactly one name: Tesla. They set the standard, they built the network, and they completely defined the culture. But if you've been paying attention to the market lately, you know the tides are rapidly changing. What we're watching right now is frankly an empire in transition.
So, is the Tesla monopoly actually over? Well, to answer that, we have to realize that this is no longer just a car story. What we're witnessing is a massive industrial revolution, and it's playing out all at once across commercial spaces, everyday consumer driveways, and deep inside the high-tech sector. The EV race is widening, and Tesla is shifting its entire playbook just to keep up.
In today's Explainer, we're breaking this down into three distinct battlegrounds. First, the heavyweight European fight. Second, consumer alternatives take over. And third, the $16 billion brain.
Okay, part one, the heavyweight European fight. Tesla is taking the Semi to Europe. So, Tesla is making this remarkably aggressive push into the commercial trucking space, taking its long-awaited semi-truck across the Atlantic. They just confirmed that the official launch date for the European Semi is 2027. Now, the European market is notoriously tight, it's strict, and it's incredibly difficult for American trucks to penetrate. But Tesla isn't just dipping their toes in the water here, they are preparing for war. They've already hired a key commercial lead in France, and they're actively building out dedicated sales teams in Germany to lay the groundwork.
And the sheer scale of the engineering here, it's absolute madness. The technical specs on the Semi are just eye-watering. We are looking at a truck capable of an 805-kilometer range, that's about 500 miles, while hauling a massive 37-ton full load. But honestly, the most staggering part is the charging infrastructure. They're planning 1.2 megawatt charging capabilities. To put that into perspective for a second, that is essentially the power of a small neighborhood grid being pumped directly into one single truck battery. Mind-blowing, right?
But here's the reality check. As impressive as those specs are, 2027 is still a long way off in the tech world. This timeline gives legacy European giants, think Volvo and Daimler, plenty of runway. And they're not going to just sit still for the next few years. They are watching Tesla's every move and aggressively developing their own commercial electric fleets to defend their home turf.
Plus, the Semi faces a brutal uphill battle financially. Sure, it has the range and the tech, but the price tag is going to be the real heavyweight fight. We're talking about severe financial headwinds, including roughly 10% European import tariffs, right on top of local value-added taxes. When you stack those up against locally built European trucks, the Semi is going to be an incredibly expensive piece of machinery.
Moving on to part two, consumer alternatives take over. Because, let's face it, not everyone wants a Tesla anymore.
The era where buyers defaulted to a Model Y simply out of habit is effectively over. Consumers are finally voting with their wallets, and they're doing it in two distinct ways right now. They're looking at the new market, which is suddenly flooded with fresh designs and super refined driving dynamics, and they're looking at the used market, where brutal depreciation has turned premium, high-end luxury EVs into absolute steals. Let's break both of these down.
If you're shopping for a brand new car today, the alternatives offer killer value, space, and style. Take the Zeekr 7X, for example. This is a Drive Car of the Year category winner, offering a huge cabin and refined dynamics, starting around 58,000 Australian dollars. Or look at the Mazda CX-6e. It looks like a sleek sports coupe SUV hybrid, and it's landing at 54,000 Australian dollars. That is nearly $5,000 cheaper than a base Model Y. It completely proves you no longer have to pay a premium just to drive electric.
But guys, the real value right now, it's in the used market. And ironically enough, this was created by Tesla's own aggressive price cuts. The depreciation on luxury German EVs has hit like a brick. For the price of a brand new Model Y, you can pick up a used Mercedes-Benz EQC, a gorgeous, ultra-quiet, premium family SUV. Or you can find a BMW i4 eDrive 35 with under 16,000 kilometers for less than 50,000 Australian dollars. But the absolute standout for me, the Genesis GV70 Electrified. It offers Bentley-like luxury and sports car performance, and with low mileage, you can find them for under 25,000 US dollars. I mean, that is a jaw-dropping bargain.
The crucial takeaway for buyers today is really simple. You don't have to compromise to drive electric. You just have to look past the brand name. For the modern buyer, the power is entirely in your hands now. The options are richer, more luxurious, and way more affordable than ever before, if you're just willing to explore the wider market.
All right, part three, the $16 billion brain.
Let's talk about the Terafab project.
Zooming out from the literal wheels of the cars for a second, we have to look at the brain powering them. $16.8 billion. That is the eye-watering price tag of a massive new project announced by Tesla and SpaceX. They are building a next-generation AI semiconductor factory right in the heart of Texas.
So why drop nearly $17 billion on a factory? It all comes down to vertical integration. The modern software-defined vehicle is only as good as the chips inside it. Historically, companies buy these processors from external tech giants like NVIDIA, but Tesla is moving away from that. They want to produce proprietary components internally to completely control their supply chain, their speed, and their costs. Essentially, this is vertical integration on steroids.
And this silicon isn't just for the cars. This Texas factory will produce the proprietary chips that power an entire ecosystem. First, the full self-driving computers right in your dashboard. Second, the Optimus humanoid robots they're developing. And third, even the Starlink satellites launched by SpaceX. It's one unified brain for a massive technological empire.
Make no mistake, though, this is a massive gamble. Semiconductor fabs are notoriously expensive to build, incredibly complex to maintain, and extremely risky. But if they actually pull this off, it fundamentally changes what kind of company Tesla is. They won't just be a car manufacturer anymore. They'll be a global hardware and AI infrastructure giant. So, let's get to the bottom line. It's a two-front war. When we bring all these threads together, a really clear picture emerges of Tesla's current balancing act. They are essentially fighting a multi-front war. On the commercial side, the Semi is their big future in Europe, but that 2027 launch gives tough legacy rivals plenty of time to catch up. On the consumer side, new and used alternatives are eating into their market share by offering vastly better value and luxury. And under the hood, they are betting the farm on creating their own AI chips to maintain control and push for high profit margins down the road.
So what should you actually take away from all of this? Well, if you are in the market for an EV right now, my actionable advice is simple. Do not default to Tesla out of sheer habit. The market has completely blossomed. Go test drive a Zeekr, hunt down a used Genesis. Get out there and explore, because you will be absolutely shocked by the incredible quality you can get for your dollar today. Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. Tesla is pushing boundaries like never before, but the road ahead is seriously steep. So, I want to hear from you. Will the Tesla Semi dominate the European trucking industry through sheer technological superiority? Or will local tariffs and fierce legacy competition completely kill its advantage? It's a fascinating standoff, and honestly, the EV race is truly just getting started. Thanks so much for joining me to unpack all of this, and keep learning.